Kokemachine for your fishing. Welcome to the party. So, today is December 7th, 2023, and it's the 7-year anniversary of the Nipissing ice reports. I hope all my audio is coming through over there. So, what that means is usually on the anniversary of the ice reports, I usually get out a piece of fancy cheese and then I eat it while reflecting on the lake. Well, these days I can't really afford too much fancy cheese, and I would have brought, like Cracker Barrel, old cheddar. That's what the finest I get when it's on sale these days. And I would have eaten it, and I would have been eating it right now if I had remembered it. And I forgot it. I was about halfway here, and I was like, oh man, I forgot my cheese. Anyway, so it's been 7 years that I've been doing the ice reports, and on the very first ice report, there was a bunch of slush in the lake, and I scooped it up with a net to look at it closely. It was like slush balls, and so that was 2017. 2017, yeah. And yeah, it's been a wild game all the way through here. Every year I've put on every year I've put on more and more subscribers. It started off at 75 subscribers, and then eventually I'm up to what, 3,400 now. I don't know how many people are actually interested in the ice formation on Nipissing, but I like to think that we got a solid crew that is watching me every year. Somebody just gave me some sort of a super, which is where you send me cash through YouTube. That's cool. Thank you very much, AC. Yeah, David Bennett here says, Coke, you haven't changed a bit. Thank you. I've noticed looking at old videos of the ice reports that my beard is actually significantly longer than it used to be. I used to think my beard was big back 7 years ago, and it just keeps getting bigger. I thought it sort of hit a plateau where it couldn't get any bigger, but apparently it just keeps rolling. And probably put on a few pounds since then, or I know I've put on a few pounds since then. I think I've lost weight, then gained weight, and then lost a bit of weight again. So anyway, such is life when you're 42 years old, right? It's up and down. I had a day the other day where I woke up in my puberty. That's good, Jeff. I woke up like a couple months ago and my right arm was just like totally fried in the elbow and I could barely lift anything. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh, as time goes on, these magic injuries just pop up where your hand or your body just gives out in some way, or you don't even know how you injured yourself. You're critically injured for 3 months. Anyway, so I'm gonna give a basic report right now. Of course, I'm pretty hyped that it's 7 years in on the reports, to be honest with you. So I'm sort of in a celebratory mood. Of course, I walked all the way down here from my house, which took me a bit of time. That was why I was late. But I feel like I need to pour myself a very tall glass of water tonight because it's been a long game coming up to 7 years here. But I'm going to give you a little report and then I'm going to do some more reflecting, okay? So, as you can see, it's all white back here. There is some kind of a line. There must be some sort of a crack, but I'm going to tell you that the lake looks to me like it's pretty much covered. And I know that Bernie Giesler down there in Hunters Bay, he called that the Hunters Bay looks like it's completely frozen over now. He sent me a message, I think, on Wednesday about that. Corey G told me that his dad, who's in the Yellock area there, says that he can see complete coverage from the Yellock area all the way out to the Manitous back there. And that's great. I know that somebody else sent me a message, or maybe I just saw a message posted, that Calendar Bay is completely covered right now. In addition to that, Mark Wolf was out at Sunset Point there, and it was looking like some solid coverage, and he was measuring some of the ice. I haven't measured any ice yet. However, tomorrow I'm going to bring out my spud somewhere around here. I'm not going to go particularly far out, probably like over like a foot of water, and just see how much ice we got at shore. because we need to see what the standard or what level we're at here before we enter into this crazy weather that's coming this weekend. Because let me tell you, it doesn't sound good for ice production. I can tell you that it's going to be what? Is it 7 degrees, 8 degrees and rain? Now, hopefully what happens, and I'm a pretty optimistic dude, hopefully the snow gets sort of melted down, and then the night following the rain, it just freezes all up again. And hopefully, like I guarantee you this rain, if it's heavy all day long and at that temperature, at the very least, it's definitely going to punch some holes in that ice in a few different places where it's going to drain down. Worst comes to worst, it's going to open up some of the areas further out in the lake where the ice isn't that thick. So, you know, we're just going to really have to see what happens here. It's going to be a dramatic couple of days, and who knows, you know, who knows what it's going to look like. So, but I really feel like the cold's coming after that rain anyway, and the lake already wants to be frozen because it is frozen right now. So it's going to want to stay that way, in my opinion. And so I think with the rain, it's going to rough it up a bit. I think there's a lot of ice that's been around shore for a while now that's going to be pretty hard to be beaten up by the rain at this point. It's just the stuff further out that's a little bit worrisome, you know. But again, you know, who knows? It is going to be a couple days of warm weather, but we just got to see how it's going to play out. I feel like we've had a good couple of nights that have been really cold, and I feel like that has hopefully put enough ice on. If there was like just one sheet of ice, like, you know, skim of ice one night and then the rain came, I think the ice would be pretty doomed as far as what's coming up as far as weather is concerned. But it has been several nights of really cold weather, and I feel like that's going to have enough ice out there to hold through this crappy weather. But again, tomorrow I'll get out the spud, I'll measure around the shore here to see what we got before we really get into this crummy weather. Anyway, so getting back to just reflecting on the ice reports, you know, I remember I did that first ice report and I had my net out, I scooped it up. A lot of people on the Lake Nipissing ice fishing board were asking about that. And I know some of you guys know about the Lake Nipissing Outdoors board. That's a forum, and some of you might not. I know a lot of stuff is on Facebook these days, so, you know, primarily that's where I interact with most people. But I really got the ball rolling with the ice reports on the Lake Nipissing Outdoors board, and every year I do the ice reports. It was a whole big thread on there, and that was where things started rolling. And then, you know, people, when I started doing the first few ice reports, people seemed to they're very interested in it. You know, you can be a YouTuber. Like, I started in 2009 making YouTube videos, and I'm sure for anybody who's looked at my older material, like my idea was like, oh, there's lots of room in fishing YouTube, in the fishing YouTube game for, like, you know, really swearing a lot. It's just really what I did in the early for-real fishing days. And then as I got older, you know, I started doing the ice reports and really tone that part down. But, you know, try to stay lively with everything here. But yeah, it's like I had 75 subscribers for 10 years of doing YouTube. And then I started doing the ice reports, and then things really started rolling. Like, there were years where I would double in subscribers every year. You know, we're sort of at a point now where every year we add on a few. We add a few more, like probably a few hundred every year. It's not like back in the day where it was like, it would just double. But back then, when you only had 100 subscribers, like, doubling that was pretty easy. Like, if I doubled 3,400, that would be awesome. To give you guys a little bit of perspective on how much I earn from YouTube ads and stuff like that, I think I've done about 10 or 12 ice reports this year, and I've earned about maybe $50 from YouTube. So I'm pulling in just a few coins off of each video from YouTube, and that's why I've been getting into, or I've always gotten into the t-shirts, and now I'm doing the sponsors and personal sponsors and stuff like that. If anybody's curious about why I stopped selling t-shirts, it was because the price of everything just kept cranking up. The place that was manufacturing my t-shirts, they're charging me more for both manufacturing the shirts and for shipping. And in addition to that, it was just like everything was just too expensive. And then of course there's all sorts of shortages of this and that, and I was having to juggle all this different stuff, and I always felt bad when they'd be like, oh, we don't have enough of those shirts, you're gonna have to wait 2 months for that, yada 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 yada. Anyway, so I got out of the t-shirt game. I was just tired of dealing with that. I really appreciate all the people who bought t-shirts, and you can consider them collector's items now, because I won't be making any more. If anybody like really twists my arm, I can probably get some made for you. But again, like the price of everything's just gone up in a sad way. And so somebody could order $200 worth of t-shirts from me when I was making them, and I might get like 40 or $50 from that. So that goes to show you how much everything costs in the end. Anyway, I will be releasing a limited edition lure that I'm pretty hyped about. And I've put it all together. I've spent a few nights putting it all together. I've been making lures since I was like a little kid. And I just, like probably most of you guys, just loved fishing, and anything that allowed me to dream more about fishing was always something that I was interested in. So I remember when I was in my teens, I was like making, going to these lure making sites and ordering up a whole bunch of different stuff, and like making spoons and different things like that. But some of the first things I ever did were actually made of wool. I made like a crayfish out of wool. It was a lure, and I made some like hand carved out of wood when I was probably like 12 years old. So it was kind of sweet to come back and come up with an idea for a lure and be like, okay, I'm going to release this in a limited basis this year. Because I like being able to like have something for sale, and something that, for me, when I'm spinning up these lures, it's like really peaceful for me. It chills me out. It's sort of like any of you guys out there who enjoy fly tying, I'm sure that you get like the sort of like Zen part of the process that's like very chilled out, and like it allows you to dream about fishing and like put together flies and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm selling necessarily, flies. It'll be, I'll release it next week. You guys will probably think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty funny, but it's a lure that I think will actually work in like dead stick situations. Anyway, so I got a message from True North Baits, and they're going to be throwing in for some of these Wednesday giveaways. So there'll be even more prizes coming up. All right, I see Bernie there. He's got a shack lined up at the shore, ready to go. That's good. So yeah, True North Baits contacted me, said they wanted to get in on some of these giveaways, and I think that's great. So I'm gonna add them on there. I finally got a hold of Mike Claus so he can get his Bad Habit Baits prize package there. In addition to that, any of you guys, if you haven't left a comment on my last video, which is December 6th, I believe, and you'll say like giveaway on the front, make sure you leave a comment on there, because everybody who comments on that video will be entered into a competition, into the draw for the limestone lures giveaway and the Bad Habit Baits. I'm just sort of doing, 2 different winners. One wins one or the other. And yeah, just to get in, all you have to do is leave a comment. Anybody who's curious out there, Northern Boys fishing there. I had a video on Tuesday there where I talked about how he said that if he made 500 subscribers, he would do the polar plunge. And I thought that was a great idea. And he was already at 443 subscribers at that point. So I was thinking to myself, like, we can totally get this guy to 500 by January 1st, because that was the stipulation. And I think he's at 496 now. So he's 4 subscribers away from swimming in this lake. I hope that he does it on a day where I can actually show up and film it as well, because I think it's a fun idea. I like that kind of stuff, just where people come up with fun ideas as strategies to get, move ahead in YouTube. And, when you go out of your way to do something special like that, then, hopefully it works out. So anyone who hasn't yet, sign up for the Northern Bit, or subscribe to the Northern Boys there, and we're gonna potentially get to see that guy do a polar plunge on January 1st or whenever he decides to do it. But that's when his stipulation, he's got to reach 500 before that. Now, my understanding of the Northern Boys is that there's the one guy, Cullen, I think, who is in most of the videos, but I feel like there's maybe a couple people involved. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that happening there. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I feel like the ice is still going to be on early this year. I'm really optimistic about that. I feel like things have progressed well, given the fact that on the first ice report year, it was still slush out here. So I think that we're doing okay as far as years are concerned. I'm just going to take a look at some of the comments here, because I see you guys I've caught a few, but I've missed most of them. Wow. You guys have been chatting on here. So I'm just going to go through the comments here. So if I look like I'm just staring around, just scanning through. All right. So Bernie, you say there's slush out there on the lake now in Hunter's Bay there. Yeah. So what happened as far as why I was late was, number one, I decided to walk down here. In addition to that, my son had hid my tripod, which had my phone mount on it. It's like one of those moments where you just, your kid's messing around with your stuff constantly, and then it's missing, and you're like, oh no. It's like I should have given myself an hour, an hour headway. So AC007, you say you're heading up to Temagami in January for the first time. Heard good things up there. Anyone been up there for hard water fishing? I have been out there at Temagami 1 year, and that time we didn't have really great luck. The one thing with Temagami is there's like lake trout there, which I've caught a few of, but they don't open till I think the middle of February. Okay, so I'm just scanning through some more pictures here. Scanning. So Michael Gates says, this is my 3rd season watching the updates. A lot of people appreciate the effort you put into these videos. Thank you very much. The flippin' dad says, I know a place if you want to make money being Santa. I guess I just have to throw some flour or something into my beard to or maybe they give me a fake beard for that. I never thought about that, Green glass. Heard of Whiskey Island? That must be an island on here, eh? On Nipissing, I mean, because I feel like I have heard of that. Ha. So I'm just laughing at Bernie. Wait until you get to be 66. I'm sure all sorts of things start giving out then. Jamie Perry, make sure that glass of water is at least 40%. It'll be 40% water, 60% motor oil. Okay, so I'm scanning through. It's a little chilly out here. Like there's a bit of a wind blowing right into my eyeballs. AC007 says, dang, just noticed the coffee donations. Is it better to donate through YouTube or coffee? To be honest with you, I think Buy Me a Coffee, they skim less off the top. YouTube, they really do their skimming. they know where to skim. And a lot of times the supers, they'll take probably half of it because they like that kind of stuff. So, man, it looks like I'm crying. And if I am crying, it's out of joy. But yeah, I'm just trying to scan through, like, I appreciate all the messages you guys have left me here. I'm just trying to get through things here. Yeah, like Michael Gates says, let's be optimistic this season, boys. Things are looking great thus far. Do you guys remember the time when everything was looking good? I released I Cook with Ice, everything was getting out, and then friggin' COVID hit and everything was under lockdown. That sucked. I'm glad. Bill D, have you seriously been rocking, or have you been watching my stuff since 2009, or are you just saying like, wow, you've been rocking it since 2009? My early stuff, I got no beard. I'm like a guy living in downtown Toronto, and I only moved up here like 10 years after I started doing for-real fishing. Yeah, I will be. Ian Patterson there. I've learned so much. Ron Yum tactics. Yeah, that's an important tactic to master. It's the do nothing tactic. Yeah, if anybody is still looking for I Cook with Ice hats, there are a significant number at Billy Bob's Baits that are available. So, yeah. Glasses are fogging up. Just picked up a Monster Lodge for some sweet nip camping. Explore Outdoors writes that. So, a Monster Lodge, I'll have to look that up. Is that, I assume, some sort of massive ice hut, or possibly a winter camping hut? Yeah, I feel like as far as Northern boys are concerned, I think there's a very high chance he's going to reach the 500 subscribers by January 1st, and I'll make sure that I keep mentioning it until he does. Yeah, Jeff, you're right. There's lots of great local content up here. You got Mantra Fishing, Northern Boys. Oh boy, I just got a sign that my phone's going to be dying soon. So here's the deal. I got to roll. So I will check you guys tomorrow for another live stream. It's going to be, I'm going to get the spud bar out and actually pop a hole and see what we got. And then I got to roll now. Apparently my battery's going to die on my phone. It's because of the cold. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about how thick the ice is then, and, be ready and, chat, hang out, and talk about what's going to happen when that warm temperature hits and that rain comes. Anyway, I appreciate everybody who's made contributions to info about the ice. Bernie Giesler, you're the master. And of course, we got Dan D in Calendar Bay, Mark Zulinski down there on the South Shore. Lake Nipissing Outfitter has been putting out a lot of stuff. We're doing good so far on these ice reports, and we're really just getting started. So we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. I'm going to pour myself a tall glass of water and celebrate 7 years of doing this, and I hope you guys will think of me doing the same tonight. Have a great night, okay?